for joining us, Voice for Her, live with some of our Voice for Her ladies of the Triad. I'm so excited to not be just streaming, but to actually be beside them. It has been about 2 years since we have had an opportunity to sit together and be in front of a camera, although we have had much time of fellowship, much time of just being together in conversation, but being able to actually be side by side and have conversation and bring you all into it. So we're excited. As always, we ask that you share the video, jump on and get ready to comment with us. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe to our channel. And if you would just give us a moment as we do the same, we're not going to ask you to do something that we're not going to do. So if you have not subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe. Please make sure that you like, love, and get ready to comment with us. For all of my Voice for Her sisters that may be in the comments, please throw up your green hearts and let us know that you are in here with us. I am Lady Koger. I'm Lady D, the founder of Voice for Her and the leading lady of the Shifting Place in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And again, these are some of my Triad Voice for Her sisters. Has everybody had an opportunity to share? Do y'all see where to share? I'm gonna post mine, and then that way y'all can, I can tag all of y'all in it too. Yes. All right, I tagged all of you ladies in it. Okay. Trying to multitask, trying to make sure that I'm on top of stuff. While I am allowing them an opportunity to share, I am actually going to jump on and see if there is anyone in the comments yet that we can say hello to. And once we have finished our sharing, we're going to introduce ourselves and we're going to jump into the conversation. It is Pastor's Wife Appreciation Month. All 31 days of March are about the pastor's wives, but not only just the pastor's wives, but women in general. Do I have anybody that's just excited just to be a woman? Like, excited to be a woman, and then on top of that, to be a pastor's wife. So we're celebrating not one, but two things in this month of March. I see 4 people who are on, but I need y'all to say something so we can say hey back to y'all. All right, everybody finished sharing? All right, good. Oh, she got the green nails too. I'm going to actually start to my far left with introductions, and I'm going to ask that you tell us your name, your church, location, and number of years that you've been a leading lady.
Hello, everyone. I am LaTraviana Cobbs. I've been a leading lady for about 9 years, and the name of my church is the Christian Fellowship.
Good evening. I am Amberly Cooper. I am leading lady of Fellowship Church here in Winston-Salem. We've been at Fellowship for 3 years. We had another pastor for 2 years, so a total of about 5 years.
Hello, my name is Daryl. My name is Daryl Munford. There we go. And I am leading lady here in Winston-Salem at Mount Calvary Holy Church of Winston-Salem. I've been in my role for about close to 2 years now. I am, what was the other thing? That was it, and that is all.
That was it. That was all. You are good. You are good.
My name is Lachey Timmons, and my church is Triumphant Pentecostal Church. We are in Mount Airy, North Carolina, and we have been there for years. I've been leading lady for 4 years.
All right, and we represent not all, but just a few of our Voice for Her sisters that are in the Triad. So we also want to say hello to the ones that could not make it. Pastor Tamika Owens was supposed to be here. So she is from the Wells Church in Greensboro, North Carolina. We are missing her, but we will definitely connect with her later. So let's jump in on the conversation. One thing about being a pastor's wife is, of this generation, is we had a pastor's wife prior to us. Or even if you did not grow up in church, there was someone that you looked at as far as a maybe a woman that you admired in your community. So starting out, I would like to pay respects to ladies before us. We call them legacy ladies. They've been in it 30 plus years. So whoever wants to jump in first, tell me about either your childhood first lady or a lady that you admire or inspires you.
When I read the question, I immediately thought about my childhood first lady, and I grew up strict apostolic, and my pastor, hardcore, nothing, like he didn't play no games, but he was hard to, he was hard, but she was the softer side. And what I admired the most about her is that she did take on that role as, she covered him, she supported him wholeheartedly, and on top of that, she was a softer, she knew how to be a people's person. And although she, respected what he had to say, she still knew how to come to the people and be around us and do stuff with the ladies. She had girls, she had young daughters, so she was the one that wanted to do things. We had youth things, we were going on outings, so she was that. And also, one thing I admire about her is that she had a career. So she had a mind, and she had a personality outside of her husband. She knew who she was, so she was like she was a nurse, and she ended up becoming a nurse practitioner. So she had a career outside of identity, outside of her husband.
Right.
Sometimes we get lost into
Right.
who we are. We want to support our husbands, and we want to be the first lady, be the moms, be the wife. But we forget who we are.
Absolutely.
And because I admire that about her, because she was the one that was able to know who she was outside of being the other roles that she took on. So
Absolutely. That's a good point. Even if we can put a pin there, and we're going to jump back in, but putting a pin there, that being able to have a career and be the pastor's wife, I would admire her too, especially during that time period. You did not hear about pastors' wives having careers, but they were, women in general, a lot of them were stay-at-home moms. They were stay-at-home wives, and then being a pastor's wife and being and having a career on top of that, that's huge. Still unheard of. Not a lot of them, but what's y'all thoughts on even looking at the way we are and us having careers and doing ministry as well?
I'll say this. The balance is real. Trying to balance being a leading lady and also trying to have and sustain a career while you're also trying to support your husband and be his backbone it's a hard role. And I admire any leading lady that is able to successfully do that. I know for myself, as soon as my husband got his role, we had already been having conversations about me coming out of work, because I just did not see how I would be able to, sustain the family and be able to work full time in a leadership role and be able to just, do everything, do all the things, right? We want to excel at everything that we do. And in order to excel at everything I do, I'm like, I got to take something off my plate.
Right.
So I did. I took a step back from my career, and I demoted myself so that I could work part-time. However, I realized that I was kind of missing a piece of me in that. And so I recently went back, but and now I'm, back kind of in the balancing thing, but I admire any leading lady that is able to sustain it and do it well. Yeah. took a break. Took a little break.
A little break, a little break, a little break.
Yes,
and,
yes.
and
Until
probably
things were a
bring
little
it
bit more
back.
manageable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, ladies?
I would say, do you want me to answer the question first, or just?
Oh
chime
no,
in?
we're just talking about just the balance of
Okay.
career and ministry.
Yes, it takes balance because I have three girls, and um, I would say that I'm a young mom. I started out being a mom at 18, and so before I was a mom, my husband was already a pastor, and so we wasn't all the way in. I say like 2 years in before we had our first child, and so it was a lot to balance because not only am I'm a new mom, but I'm a new wife, and not only am I a new wife, but I'm a new leading lady, and so it was just like all of these things coming right out of high school was like, how am I going to do this? Because honestly, I didn't grow up in ministry. I didn't grow up in church. You know, I went with my uncle and with my aunts here and there, but I didn't just go to church every Sunday. And so I didn't have really an example of what it meant or how to do certain things. And so I was one of the ones who brought my family into ministry. And so it was a lot to try to figure out, you know, how do I do these things? And in a way, it kind of helped me because I didn't have to look at someone and try to like duplicate that person. You know, I found my own way to do certain things. And as a mother, you know, it was like I wanted to work, but I also wanted, because I nursed all my kids, and I also wanted to be at home to nurse. And so I had to realize that, okay, in order for me to, like she said, find your own identity, how can I make this work? And so for me, it was more of, you know, what helps me, what keeps me out of, you know, feeling like I'm not doing enough, feeling like, you know, I still have a career, have things I want to do. And so for me, it was more of, you know, and I thank God for my husband because he was like, you know what, even though you in this role, take all the time you need. So he was very patient with me, and he helped me, and he let me, you know, live even though, you know, I had roles. So like if I was like, okay, she's not feeling good, or not, he was like, okay, you can stay home, you can do this, you know, I got it. And so it took a lot of balance, and it took a lot of patience, and it just took me growing up, you know, realizing that, you know, God, if you gave me this role, I know that it's something that you've done, because I know I did everything not to be in this role. If I can be honest, you know, I did things that I feel like, okay, he'll leave me alone, you know, he won't be with me, you know, I can get out of this thing. But God kept him consistent. And when I seen that God kept him consistent, I said, it's something here, God, that you want me to do. And so as I drew closer to God, it was through my children, honestly. As I grew love for them, it made my heart so tender that I knew how to grow and love on God. And that's what really put me in a place of really being a leading lady, because I got the love through my kids to really see what love was. Because I didn't grow up with a father. My father was murdered when I was in 5th grade. And so it was just like, you know, what is love, or what is this? And then you got my mom working all the time, so it's like she trying to make ends meet. So it was a lot of things that was missing. But as I continued to grow and learn who God was for me, he put that thing together, and I was able to balance and be who I am now. So I would say balance.
Like,
It was a lot at
testimony.
once.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Wow. Woo. Just take a moment and take that all in. Again, balancing career. You even brought up motherhood, balancing motherhood, and you know, for you others that are mothers, just balancing it all. I heard recently a podcast. I won't say who it was because a lot of people know these people, and so I won't say their name. But I heard a podcast where a pastor and first lady said that in ministry there is no balance, and I sat there and I was like, that's not true. But instead they said there's no balance, but there are priorities. Well, you have to have to balance your priorities.
Yes.
So just knowing that you all have to balance it all, you know, I commend you all for that extra M that's on there, that extra M on there. You got marriage and ministry and motherhood, and then there's the career. So, my heart and my hat goes off to you all. Also, and even speaking of that, we want to say hello and thank God for our husbands.
Yes. Thank God.
Thank God for our husbands. The ones that are watching, for the ladies whose husbands are not here, and for the ones that decided to tag along. Look, we could go live if mine wasn't here, because I wouldn't have been able to do it. We'd have been sitting here on this little phone like this, trying to figure it out. So we want to thank God for our pastors, Bishop Cobbs, Pastor Cooper, Pastor Mumford, Elder Pastor, I call him my good elder, Pastor Timmons, and Pastor Koger. We thank God for you guys. We know that, again, if you're not here, that you're watching, and thank you for allowing us this time and this space, even away from you all.
Yes.
We promise we won't be long, but we'll be strong. So jumping back into the question about the First Lady that you admired or inspired.
I can go next. My childhood first lady was my mother, and she was a career woman and still is a career woman. She's been with the state of North Carolina for about 30 years in human resources. And so just to see her do that my whole childhood, and was just so before you get into church and her being a leading lady, she just has always been the epitome of a wife. And a virtuous woman. When I think of the Proverbs 31 woman, she was working hard, putting food on the table every night, serving my father in unprecedented ways around the clock. And so seeing her do that, the way she served him in the home and the way she served us as her children, was the same in the way she served the state of North Carolina in all of her jobs working up to where she is now. It led into the way that she served God's people in ministry, and as a leading lady, she's a bad girl. I would just say it. And just a strong woman who kind of put all of her natural personality of shyness and more timidity, really put it on the back burner to serve God in a bold way. And people, when they meet my mom, and she says it all the time, if you don't know her, you wouldn't know that she's just a naturally shy and naturally quiet person. And to be able to see her as a woman of God, because when you hear her, she is a preacher, she pastors with my dad, and to hear her boldness, and now she's flat-footed. Now, I wouldn't say she is a very feminine and elegant woman, very classy, but she is a kind of flat-foot. She's no nonsense, is what I'm trying to say. So I feel like I got so much of a total package with her, and I'm not just saying it because she's my mom, but it really, her as a leading lady, because it started in our home, it went into ministry. It's who she is. It's the character and strength of God. And it makes such a difference, I feel, in the woman that I am. She showed me how to show up in rooms, and even if you feel afraid, how to boldly still declare the word of God. And I've seen her ridiculed and talked about and still love and give the best hugs you would ever have. I've seen her experience this from being in ministry, but also from the home side. And the things that I hear from a lot of pastors' children and different things, I'm like, I really don't have that experience. And I don't say it out of anything but the grace of God. But my parents, they were determined, both of them, but as a mother, the things that I saw her endure, and she was not in. I hear so much, but I never heard my mom talk down on people, talk back about people. go back and forth about when things were said and done that were inappropriate, that were not right. I've never seen her retaliate or seek revenge when she could have and maybe should have, but just speaking of the character she has as a woman. And so it was a very high standard set from the home. And I started the way that I did because it was from the home. I did not grow up in a home where there was one thing going on at home and another thing going on at church. So that is the woman that I am. I am when I'm on the pulpit, when I'm in church, that's who I am. That's how I live my life. And I can say that it's a direct reflection of the mother that raised, direct reflection, because I never saw my parents, my mother in particular, but my parents, I've never seen them live anything different behind closed doors than I have in a church. And even more so, the light of God was in our home than in church. So that is why I admire her so much as my first leading lady, as my childhood first lady.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Mom, we got to hear Mom a little bit at the installation service. And yeah, just a little bit. She got up, she had words, and we was like, that's gotta be her mom. It was like, that's gotta be her mom. What about you?
Oh, so, wow, y'all know some amazing women. The first lady that I really admire also goes back to my childhood, Lady Welch. God bless her that her husband passed away while I was young, but the same woman that she was back then is the same woman she is today. She is just so sweet, so quiet, so meek, but she, the people pushed her to speak and pushed her to the front. And the reason why I admire her so much is because I see a lot of myself in her, or I see a lot of her in me, because I'm naturally a quiet person, and I don't like attention. I don't like to be looked at. I just want to stand in the back. I like to do things in the background, and that's kind of how she was. However, I get pushed a lot of times and pushed out of my comfort zone as I'm serving God's people. And I know that I'm anointed for this calling. So while I want to sit in the back, I do God's will, and I serve the people. So that's the reason why I admire her so much, only because I see a lot of her personality in myself, and I see it more now as an older woman than I did, of course, when I was young.
Well, for me, my mom was a minister's wife, but my mom just always happened to be like cool with pastors' wives. So I was just always around them, not realizing I was going to be one. But I used to love like just being around them, especially the ones that wore hats, because I'm a hat girl. And so might not wear them as much now, but I just like to see people in them. So for me, it would be my childhood first lady was she's a minister now, Minister Carolyn Stowe. When I say, she ain't wear no hats though, but she was the sweetest thing, and I got to see her actually operating in ministry. She used to sing on the choir, and I just thought, like, oh wow, my first lady, she sings on the choir, but then she sit over here and she looks pretty too, but she hugs people, she's engaging with people. And even some of the other first ladies, when we would go in fellowship, like St. Matthew's Apostolic, Mother Josephine Lowry, if you are from Winston, you know her. And the hats, though, that this lady wore. This is one hat, and I had an opportunity to talk to her about 2 weeks ago. And I was like, this is one hat you wore when I was a kid, and I still remembered it. And I said, Mama, she has a chandelier on her head. And she said, I know exactly what hat you're talking about. When you don't want it anymore, Mother Lowry, can I have that chandelier? And I'm going to wear it too. But women, first ladies like her, and even when I got a little bit older, lady, she does not like anybody to call her first lady, but I'm going to just call her Miss McGowan's, but she likes to be called Lady Terry from Greater Galilee. Looking at her dress, the way she dressed, the way she supported Pastor McGowan's, And not only that, but she was one of the most outspoken first ladies. Like, you were not gonna come against Pastor McGowan. You were not. And I loved it. I loved it. So those were, just a few ladies just growing up. But like I said, my mom was connected to a lot of pastors' wives, so I got an opportunity to see, a lot of them. But I was fascinated with like them hats. And Mother Lyra, she sung on the choir too. I was like, oh, so all the pastors' wives sing on the choir. I was like, well, I feel right at home now because I sure be sing. Well, I sing on the praise team, but so now that we've paid our respects to the ones before us. Who's the first lady now that inspires you? And you can say yourself. You can say yourself, because sometimes society tells us not to appreciate ourselves, or that's being self-centered or self-absorbed. But who's a first lady now that you look at and you're like, wow, like she does it. She has it all, or I love the fact that she come when she want to, and like she do her own thing, and nobody pushes her. And if you don't have one, that's fine too. That's fine too.
I have one. Cause like I was saying, I didn't grow up in ministry, but right now, I would say First Lady Sherry Lights in the Statesville,
Mm-hmm.
Christ Cathedral. Am I saying Christ Cathedral of Deliverance? I believe I'm saying it right. I admire her because it's just like she just strong. Like she just shows so much strength, and it's not in like a arrogant way. She carry herself well. She knows how to carry herself as a lady, and when she speaks, she don't speak just to speak. When she speaks, she about to tell you something, and it's not in a rude way, but it's like when she open her mouth, it just makes so much sense, and it's just like she just carry herself so well. And a lot of times I'll just go and I'll go if she doing any type of studying or anything like that. Like she was one of the ones who opened me up to see how a lady talk and how she reacts, and how if she don't react, how to respond or approach certain situations. And even I have seen her in hard situations, and she just respond and just awesome way. You be like, how did you just let that roll off your shoulders? I mean, and even if it didn't, it just like her actions didn't show it, because I always talk with my face, and I'm learning, because my husband be like, they wanted to come and speak to you, but you looked like you was upset. And I was like, maybe I was hungry. I don't know, but I just my face just say something, and I don't even feel that way. Like I have a member, she sometimes even now she'll text me and be like, you okay? And I'll look at my phone like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm fine. She's like, oh, you looking like you're upset. No. And so I'm learning how to fix my face and things like that, because really nothing be wrong with me. I don't know why, but even growing up, and I'm sorry to digress, but my mom, my friends would be like, go ask your mom stuff, and I'm like, why you don't go ask? They're like, she look mean. So I don't know if that's what it was, 'cause she's sweet. My mom is a sweet woman, but I guess it was just like something that I took from her, where I don't know. Yeah, my resting face, because that's just what I do, and I'm trying to learn how to be not have that face. But she just will let things or approach things in a different way, and I admire that about her, because a lot of times when something rub us the wrong way, we're ready to tell you why, we're ready to tell you what it is. And it's like when you're in this role, you have to realize that you just cannot speak your mind, or if you approach a situation, you have to do it with love. It's okay to tell the truth. It's okay to if you have an out against your brother, to go to him, but you have to know how to do it, because even though people may say certain things that rub you the wrong way, that's still a soul. That's still and some people really don't know how to talk to other people. Some people just plain think it's okay, because that's how they grew up, that's how they did certain things. So I would say Sherry Lights, she is the woman that I admire, because she just shows so much strength, and she does it in just a wonderful way. Okay.
You know?
Okay. Yes.
You
Yes.
don't want to son and
I
daughter
feel
you.
that.
You
I feel
know?
that.
I'm saying
Yeah.
you can't son and daughter me. And for the longest, I even was like, you're not old enough to be my mom. You can be like an auntie though. And she was like, one day God's gonna show you, you're gonna have to mature in the faith. And now I realize, oh yeah, when I say a midwife, like and will call, and when I don't answer, that's how I know, like, yeah, you into some stuff. Your attitude real jacked up. She'll text and be like, either you answer or I'm coming. You know what? Let me answer the phone. And so I thank God for co-pastor Rita Wilson. Now we work together, so she just pops up at the office and be like, hey. I'm like, hey, what God show you? I'm working on it. I am. Also, I want to say as well, one that I admire is Dr. Yvonne Hines, Mount Sinai. I love Mother Hines. I do. And just going to her church, she's one who took over after her husband passed. Going to her church, I mean, you just walk in and just automatically be like, oh Jesus, just weep. And so those two are definitely two that I'm looking at and have been looking at for quite some time.
I will say too as well. My husband's childhood first lady, First Lady Pamela Wooden from Raleigh. Just that's the church he grew up in, but just as someone in the city, visiting there, she's just a woman of grace and elegance and class, and one who always supports her husband. Just a picture of supportive, works very hard in ministry, and the consistency and the faithfulness of just years of seeing her do it, walking that life, and just an example to those who have come behind her. And also First Lady Barbara Lockett in Greensboro. I think she is a pillar of strength and just definitely an example of doing the work of the Lord, being faithful, being consistent. So those two are two women that I look ahead to as really strong examples too.
I want to actually go back to, you were talking about you're working on your face, your resting face. She's not the only one that has this resting face,
Thank
right?
you, Jesus.
So I just want to encourage you, you're not the only one.
Okay.
And I want to encourage you that even if you smile all the time, people gonna have a problem. So I feel like, because I'm a smiling person, I'm pretty much always gonna respond and say, even kill. But and people still have something to say. Yeah. So I feel like you almost can't win. Why she smiling all the time? Was it? Ain't nothing to laugh about. Ain't nothing to tell. So I feel like right. Why she can't be happy? I mean, so I feel like be encouraged, because from opposite ends of the spectrum, people, if they want to have something to say, they gonna find something to say.
Yeah, I laugh because between my mom who sits over here and is one of our nurse at the church, she used to do me like this in the congregation.
Oh, really?
And I said,
Okay, let me.
because I'd be sitting there like,
Yes. I think I do that too.
thank you, Nurse Coakley. I do so well now. I do so well now.
It's funny that that you are on that spotlight. Like everybody, all eyes are on you all the time. Like you have to keep this like composure or this posture all the time. Do you feel like it's like a pressure to do that, like to be that person?
I didn't. Not at first, because I didn't feel like my, like, the leading lady, the first lady role at my church. I didn't think it was it. I don't know how to say it, because my founder's wife, my mother-in-law, who's amazing, Mother Coger, she worked a lot of times behind the scenes. So when I came in, I was like, well, I'm just gonna do what I always been doing, which is I'm gonna be singing, and that was it. And so I didn't really tap into it till I realized that there were shifters here who actually were like, yeah, oh, I need a first lady.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, come here. Okay. I would love to be your first lady. Okay. You know, but I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that pressure for that reason. If I had any pressure, it was coming from my mama. Like that. I know she's not looking. I know she's not watching this yet. But when she watches it later, she's gonna be like, Danielle, why are you making it seem like I'm just that bad? No, you be up here singing and sis be doing this. And then she will text and say, why didn't you put them shoes on with that, Danielle? And I was singing. I was up here singing. I'm trying to be comfortable, not cute. Right, not cute. But no, I didn't feel that pressure, not from the people. What about y'all?
I feel kind of like my sister over here. I feel like as soon as your feet hit the church ground, it's like almost like you're on stage. Because
She said on stage.
yes, and you don't want to be. You didn't ask to be on stage though. Yeah. So and because I got in those texts, you know, are you okay?
Oh, okay.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Are
okay.
you okay? Yeah.
What you do, how you move.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. what you do, how you move, as far because I've gotten those. One time I think somebody may have said something and I made a face and then after church one of the ladies was like, you know we see you over there looking like that. Oh, okay. I gotta watch how I respond and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not I guess my question is like, how do you handle that kind of like, because you are whether you think so or not, everybody's looking at
Everybody's
you.
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you respond?
I was thinking about that because there was a moment at church where something really funny happened, and it was funny, but it wasn't funny for the person that was, that what it was about. So, as a leader, sometimes if something funny happens, if it's not funny for everyone,
Right.
you may not need to make a face.
Right.
And growing up in church, we snickered at a lot, like, everything funny in church. So I've had to train my face. I may be laughing in my head, but all I can do is really smile in that moment, or not make a face at all, because people, as a leader, you don't want to seem like you're taunting or you don't want to have an opinion. You kind of want to be neutral. And so I think it's a really intentional thing, and it's something that you grow. As you grow, I feel like you kind of adapt naturally to that. That's just my thoughts on that.
Talk about this pressure. I done got comfortable.
We over here like this.
Do y'all feel this pressure? Do y'all feel this pressure?
To a certain extent, because okay, at first, because when my husband first became a pastor, it was already established church. First it was apostolic, then it went to Baptist, and very Baptist, yes, because it was all about, and I don't want to go ahead, but it was all about what she looked like, what she gotta have, and this, that, and third. And it was like it seemed like they believed that the pastor is this, and the wife or the first or leading lady is just whatever. That's how they did. And I think it was because in a place where it showed me how they felt about their wife. I would honestly say, some people feel like my wife gotta be quiet, my wife can't have her own opinion, things like that. So I feel like we went into a church like that. So at first, like everything, you had to watch what you do, watch what you say, this thing, it was pressure. But the moment that we founded a church, all of that.
Talk about that. Talk about that.
It was so free. Like, I mean, it was so free. And I didn't feel no pressure from that moment. But I can relate now that I'm thinking about it. Yes, being in a church that's already established, and you have people that just stuck in their ways, and they just feel like this is what it is. And if you don't come like this, then you're going to have to adjust to what we got going on. Yes, I felt that. But the moment I really forgot been free for so long.
She said, "What do y'all mean by
I've
that?"
been so free and like even with when we found, I feel like it became a family when you found out. It's just like when people come in, you able to embrace where they are. You not this is what you gotta do. This, you have order, but you get to really get to know the people. Yeah, and you said it as you go. You know, it's like, okay, let's work on this, let's do this, let's do that. So yes, I agree. Yes, when you in a certain ministry, they do look at you like, oh wait, is she gonna do this? Is she gonna turn? Is she gonna stand up when her husband say this? Or she gonna do that? They just looking to see who you respond, how you respond. But then, once I got into that place of being free, I ain't.
Come on, freedom. That's what I'm talking about. Once I got free, yes, stay free.
So right now, I'm just, hey everybody.
Look, and to go off of that, I think going into a minute, taking on a ministry that's already established, it's a blessing and it's also kind of like a curse in a way because you, like you said, you're walking in, you have to step in standards that are already been set.
Exactly.
When you have your own ministry, you can
Right.
start those standards. This is what we do here.
Right.
That's right.
You don't like it, you
Yeah.
can go. In other words, but it's hard stepping into something that's already established because it's people that have, and with my situation, for 40 years we came in 36 years they had no first lady, none. So I was able to walk in there and in a way I didn't have any shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But it still was like, oh, so you gonna do that? Like it's still like a, you still have to.
Educate.
It's still pressure either way. So like,
Definitely been on both ends
It's
of the
fresh.
spectrum as well. Because before coming here, my husband founded our ministry, and we were there 2 years, and it was just like what he say went, and that was it. And I was like, yeah, what he said, and then once he was appointed. Once he was appointed here, when his dad retired, it was like, okay, this has already been established. Not only that, but they know him as the pastor's son, so that was a totally different, dynamic. And now here it is. Fast forward 10 years later, hey, we getting it together. We are getting it together, and so that's even an encouragement that even when going into an already established ministry, there is a turnaround. I mean, if we can stick and stay to get into that turn, but there is a turnaround because it is a transition it was a transition for us because we were like, for me, I can't say for him, I'm gonna speak for me. For me, I'm like, my husband, he was a pastor already. He ain't got to answer to nobody. He ain't got to tell nobody why he doing nothing because he was called by God, and that's it. And that's how I felt because that's the way it went in our ministry, and they respected him. And so now it's like, well, the people here were trying to transition from, oh, well, that was my Sunday school member. And I'm like, nah, that ain't your Sunday school member no more. That's your whole pastor, And so giving them the space to make that transition mentally, we had to give them that. We had to give them that, and it wasn't easy. But looking at it now, I'm like, it definitely was worth it. Hit that hard curve, and once we got to that curve, we took off running, But it was definitely worth it, and I love my shifters, and they love me. Oh, we good? All right. Well, in speaking of pressure and expectation, we did a survey. We surveyed 50 plus, actually, 50 plus pastors' wives. Different cities, different states, different ages, even though we are millennial leading ladies, we actually surveyed women of all ages that are pastors' wives. Before I jump into that, Lady Vance is on. Hey, Lady Vance. She is one of our Mount Airy Voice for Her sisters. So we surveyed 50 women, and one of the questions was, if you could change one thing about your church, what would it be? And out of all of the answers, 50 answers that could have been given, these were our top four. Nothing. Right. I said, man. For nothing, people's perspective and their expectation, and then disrespect and inhumane treatment. Right. It was deep. It was deep. Out of those four, which one do you think ranked the highest? Nothing, perspective, expectation, respect, or inhumane treatment.
I'm gonna go ahead and put nothing at the bottom of the list. I'm gonna go ahead and X that one out.
I was shocked when I saw it so many times. I was
It's
like,
beautiful. It's just beautiful.
it's like, that's nice.
Oh, you want us to rank it?
Yeah, right. Which one do you think was the top? It was between nothing, perspective, expectation, disrespect, inhumane treatment.
Expectations was probably the
First,
highest.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'll say that's the highest.
Gotcha. It was definitely expectation. Expectation was 24%. Disrespect was 18%, and nothing and inhumane tied at 12%.
What y'all putting my sisters through? What y'all doing to? What y'all doing?
I mean, we.
It had to be. I knew it. I was like expectation, disrespect. One of them. One
Yeah.
of them highest.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I was actually shocked to see. I was a little shocked, honestly, to see disrespect because I don't hear about it a lot, and because and I guess it's one of those things. Just because you don't see it, just because you don't hear it, don't mean it don't exist.
Yeah.
And so I don't hear about it, which is good because it could mean that maybe you handling it in prayer and supplication and fasting, or you got a therapist, or whatever you need to do that keeps you in right standing with God, to make sure that you get through it.
Well, I would say not. If you think about the disrespect, they could have came at an angle as far as order. Not necessarily coming out saying something to somebody, but not just the order of church.
Right.
Not there.
Yeah.
They're not respecting the order, or what's going on in church. Maybe they was going that angle.
Gotcha.
I would hate to think that. Yeah.
And lack of honor, I think, is a thing in our
Yeah.
generation, in
Yeah.
society. People just don't honor things that should be honored or hold sacred things that should be
Yes.
sacred. So maybe that's the disrespect, because
the difference,
honor
yeah.
for leadership compared to what it has been, and of course things were perverted in certain instances, but overall the honor is just low. And I mean, young people, old people, so I don't want to just put it on a generation, but a current society state, the honor is just out the window, out the
It
door.
is.
Don't have
No
none.
reverence
I mean,
for
yeah.
God's house, His
That's
people,
true.
His word, none of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So like you said, maybe that's the angle as
Yeah.
opposed to,
Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
So, in expectation, in perspective, at least you know that you're not the only ones that feel this pressure of being a certain way, and even in the disrespect or dishonor, which is something that I talk about a lot, which is honor. And when people say, like, I saw a post on IG, and it rubbed me the wrong way because anybody who know me know that I am biased to us. I am biased to millennials. I am biased to my pastor's wives. And the post said, I miss when first ladies used to be. And people, like, there were hundreds of comments. And it probably wasn't good for me to read it because this was hot. I was hot. I said, wait a minute. Y'all talking about, I miss when the first lady used to sing before her husband preached.
Maybe I can't see it. Everybody.
Right. I'm like, what about somebody who's not, who's not gifted? Now she get up there and she sing because she don't look at this post and she can't sing. Y'all up there laughing at her. She don't, well, got you on the real. But people, it's like, the expectation of I miss the way church used to be. I do too, because at the age that I'm at now is the age that my parents were when I was a little kid. And the way they act, acted then is not the same way people acting now.
And if you miss it so much, act like the people used to act.
Yeah.
Y'all started, and then we gonna follow y'all's lead.
You know, and I was laughing because somebody followed up with the response. Of course, the responses weren't as much, but an older lady said, she said, well, I miss when the pews used to have power. I was like, me too, mother.
Okay.
I was like, me too, mother. You know, it wasn't always the pastor who was casting out spirits. It wasn't always the elder who was laying hands on somebody who was sick. You know, these people that was in the, you know, in the pews. So I pray that we can restore that. You know, and not that you overstep. You know, stay decent and in order. Yeah, but you know, but that we even come back to that because you know, growing up in church, it wasn't uncommon to see a drunk man walk in the church and they walk out sober. It was like, oh, what they doing back there? Huh? Oh, okay. Well, he was drunk when he walked in, but now he good. You know, but watching that as a child, it shapes something in you when you become an adult. It's like, I'm not just reading something or going by what somebody told me. My young eyes saw this. You know, my young eyes saw that, or my young eyes saw the people, not just the ministers, the pastors, the mothers, but the people of God praying and a spirit being cast out. Like, and I'm not talking about no, you know, people try to, well, I won't say that. Well, anyway, spirits, I'm talking about people slithering like snakes, levitating off the ground, you know, and it wasn't a spectacle of it either. You know, and that's something that even with us having social media is a pressure. That's a pressure. You know, and sometimes we even have to figure out what to stream, what not to stream. I don't know if your husbands are like mine. Mine will say it in a heartbeat, Rika, turn off the stream. When he do that, I'll be like, what he getting ready to say? You know, oh Lord. But, you know, even having to cut stuff off when the Spirit of the Lord start moving some stuff, you just ain't gonna get unless you hear. You know, and because you know, like you said, you turn into a reel, but having that pressure even to keep up with social media views, what is it, clicks and likes? That's pressure. That's pressure and it's expectation. But yeah, that's life. that's life, and that's us. We are right at close to 8 o'clock, and like I told y'all, we wasn't gonna be long, but we gonna be strong. But I do want to get this one out here as well. What do you think the biggest myth is about the pastor's wife?
I would say we already said mostly the dress, you know, how she's supposed to look, this look that they have, you know. I feel like, you know, of course, present yourself holy and acceptable, but you know, it's coming up. You want to feel like they really trying to help you instead of judge you, and a lot
Got that right.
Everybody that comes and say,
got
"Oh, I
that
got
right.
you," you my first lady. You can't open up. You gotta watch everything.
Watch and
Just
pray.
what you say, your kids. Who get close to them. All of these things, and so I believe like certain responsibilities of what a first lady should do is kind of myth because I feel like let me learn to walk
That's
in
right.
the way God has called me to do because I know He called me like my sister said like this wasn't nothing that I woke up to and said well I want to be a pastor's wife. I told my husband I said why didn't you tell me that you went to church and you was gonna be a preacher because we could have cut that out
Get the
then.
memo.
And a lot of people was like, why you didn't cut it out? I was in love with him by this time. Too late. So I just, I feel like, if I was in this place in my life, I feel like that God has a calling on me. But, let me do it in my own way. Let me learn. It's nothing wrong. I do not mind, advice, help, like that's really like how would I say sincere help, like pure
Yes,
help, like you really
absolutely.
trying to help me, not get in my business, not trying to figure
Yeah.
out. But if you're gonna help me, really help me. And I love women who say, no, I see you and I'm really gonna help you. But then there's also women that say, I see you and I'm trying to get in to see what else I can get from you. So I just feel like some of our responsibilities are not gonna be the same as women. Some things that you might do, I might not do well, or you might do, I might not do well. And, but it all works together in our
That's
ministry
right.
because that's how God has it set up. So I just think, certain roles that we play is going to be different. We all have to cover our husbands. We all have to pray for them. We always have to be there or hear what they're going through or how they feel at the moment. And they just going and going. You like, Lord, you could have just stopped. Just retire. But I don't say, I really go and I say, I'm going to pray for you. You're going to get there. But they go through a lot. And they don't notice that we really the first ones to really hear the real. Then when they really feeling the type, we hear that thing. I don't care if it's family hurt, word, church, everything. You hear all of that, and you just like, wow. So I think the roles.
I'm gonna put this disclaimer out there. You just hit on something that I think a lot of women need to hear. When he's talking to you, he's talking to you.
Yes.
That's not for you to share.
Not at all.
Pillow talk don't mean you laying down on the pillow, but that's something I had to learn very fast. Because then I was out there like, oh no, my husband said he ain't even getting ready to let that slide. He getting ready to address this. And then I was sitting there like, he ain't address it. Oh man, now here I am with egg on my face. I was like, you gonna have to learn how to be quiet, Danielle, and understand when he talking to you, he venting, and that should be his safe space. It's the scripture in the Bible, can't remember where it is. I ain't one of the scholars, but it says that his heart trusts in her. I want him to be able to trust that when I tell my wife something, she gonna hold it. Now I might be on the inside like, yeah, like Jesus, do not change his heart. Let's get it now. Don't go in there changing his heart, Lord. But let me put that disclaimer out there for wives. Please don't share that. Don't share that. Don't break his trust. But also sometimes God will change their heart, change their mind, and there you are out there like, yeah, we ain't gonna do nothing because God done intervened. Now you the only one. Him and God on the same page, and you just standing over there like, oh, okay.
How did you handle it?
Exactly.
You handled it in a whole nother way. I was
Yep.
like, okay.
Yep. That was good. That was good.
You can understand it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What other myths do you think are big for pastors' wives?
I want to say this because I don't know if no offense to none of y'all. But one of the myths is that we have a word. We supposed to say something. We supposed to preach. That's the myth. And just because God gave him something to say doesn't necessarily mean that's my calling. I mean, I don't know. It could happen later on down the
Yeah.
road. But I think a lot of people push us too soon.
Yeah.
And some first ladies, and most of y'all, I know that's why I said no disrespect to anybody that does preach.
Understand.
But sometimes people are pushed because it's an expectation because he does. You should do something in ministry. You can't just sit there and look pretty. You got to do something. So I feel like that's one of the myths that you automatically you got a word, don't you?
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. We'll have a women's conference. I want to hear you speak. I want to hear you talk. You got something to
lead the women ministry.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's
I agree with my sister over here because that happened to me maybe like a month or two ago. But I have a really good friend and sister who I point them towards. So when people come to me, yeah. And so people, like you said, people assume that because he was called, that you're called as well. So now that I know some amazing women that speak and have a gift, oh my goodness, thank you so much for thinking of me. I can't do that right now, but I know someone that is capable that can do that for you and speak for you. Now, I am on a journey currently too, and not because I felt pressure, but because I felt called by God to, be able to do that in the future. So I am on a journey to do that. But in the meantime, I didn't feel the pressure. I waited on the Lord. I waited on the Lord. Yes, I waited on the Lord. No, I waited on the Lord. And I know it was him because it's something that I never, ever wanted to do. So when that's how you know when it's God. When it's something that you were like, oh, no, I could never do that. Yes, then you know that it's from God. But yeah. Yes.
We made a pact a long time ago. We was like, we ain't preaching. She was at my husband's initial sermon. I was at her husband's initial sermon. We done been to installations. We done been to first services. And every time we be like, we ain't speaking.
Now Danielle, she almost crossed over. Almost.
I believe it.
She getting engagements and stuff.
I was just encouraging. Now I encourage my ladies all day, every day. Encouraging my ladies all day, every day. But y'all have big shoes. Like, people who carry that weight. Yeah, my prayers are with y'all. My prayers are definitely with y'all. But that is a big myth. It is. Any more?
I think that's a great one. And for me, I think to speak to the other side of that if you are in ministry or do lead the women's ministry, that you're doing it because your husband is the pastor. I was preaching before I met my husband 15 years ago. I was preaching since I was 19 years old, officially. That's licensed. And so, but before that, I've done everything. So my ministry and my calling, I would be leading women if I weren't my husband's wife. So I think the other side of that is to identify. And I think the myths, both sides of it, are so convoluted. And so, because if you're putting something on somebody that's not there, but if you're trying to take something away from somebody that does have it. So I think both sides are really valid. And because there are things that I do and that I know I'm anointed and appointed to do that I'm not even doing in my ministry because God hasn't put it on my husband's heart for me to go forward with that. But I knew what I was called to do before any of this happened. And I think people think that you're doing something. And even I was telling y'all about my mom earlier, like me, I don't have to do anything or say anything, but what I refuse to do is not do what God said, trying to please anybody. And that's how I also feel about the pressure piece, because I think that's a very human thing. I think it's natural for us to feel like that. But what I refuse to do is give you power to tell me how I'm going to sit and how I'm going to do. Even when we talk about the laughing and things, I don't subject myself to what somebody will say when they see me. I can't live like that. I don't live my life like that. And I think with social media and society, people will try to put pressure on you. No, baby, that's not mine. I'm not taking it. I'm not doing it. So even if I ever feel like, oh, they looking, I'm going to holler. I holler out. I laugh loud. I am vocal because that's how God has created me in this space. So I could show, and I lived in fear paralysis for many years, but I refuse to be somebody that can't be free in God. I'm sent to lead people into freedom and to walk and to share a light. And for many years, I put that under the bushel. But I refuse. Why am I going to give you a power to put me in. The devil is a liar. He a liar. He likes to use people. Anybody who's willing, he will use them. And so I refuse to let somebody who's volunteering for the devil's service that day to put me in anything that, because he out here looking, who can I use today? That's be like, me. And I can't give you the power of that. So I think there's both sides to that, and I think both are myths, both are untrue, and we just have to stand strong in who and where God has called us to be and how, because I think there's two sides to a lot of things.
That's a good point. Even if we separate it from being pastors' wives and just talk about women in general, like women so many times have had to suppress, and now I believe that we started seeing it when the women's act started, and in the 90s it was anything a man can do, I can do it, all of those different movements. But now I'm starting to see more women and hear more women embracing who they truly are, and it's encouraging because you do have those moments where you struggle, especially if you're the only one. If you the trailblazer, in your case you're the only lady, like you're the first lady that they've had. That's a trailblazer, and whether it's you do have it. And the beautiful part about it is you have an opportunity to educate them, so even after you, they'll know how to treat one. They'll know how to, and it's because of the deposits you made. And even with all of us, we have an opportunity, even though we're coming in as leading ladies behind someone else, we also have the opportunity to elevate them, because we're still not like the one that was before us. So whether you are the one who's more quiet and reserved than the former first lady was out and she was in the open, or whether you are one who's out in the open and the former was reserved, I'm not trying to be her. We're not gonna be them. We're gonna be us, and we're gonna embrace ourselves, and then we support each other. We support each other, so we're gonna be her initial sermon.
Ooh, can't wait.
Who are you telling? Who are you telling? We're gonna be all of them. Hate that we missed your ordination. Was ordination elevation? Elevation.
Well, ordination.
Yeah, ordination. Yes, she is now co-pastor. She is now co-pastor Cobbs. That was my wedding anniversary, so that's the only reason why I wasn't able to be there. Yeah, February 18th. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. That's why I wasn't there.
Well, I didn't put it in the chat. I didn't put it in the chat. I'm sorry. I really didn't share it because you didn't want us to be there. No, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. I was just. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I was amazed. Like, I was like, is this really happening? I was one of those like, is this really happening? Because like, I'm just a shy person. Like, and it took my husband. He travels all the time, and it took him to be traveling and going on Sundays. And then he like, I need you to speak. I'm like, ooh, yeah, I need you to speak. I need you. And so that that's how I got here, because I was able to assist and be there for him, even scared, nervous, afraid. God gave it to me every time. He did it every time. And so that's he was like, well, I'm gonna make you the co-pastor. I was like, no, I don't. He was like, yeah, you just been there, you just been assisting me, you've been, and so it's still new. He was like, this co-pastor. I'd be like, your wife. But
You take that honor. You take that honor. If you ain't embraced it yet, you take it for the team.
right.
Because one day one of your sisters may not be honored, and she gonna lean on your honor. So you take it for the team. Yeah, Yeah, hey, we take it for the team. We taking it for the team. I think it was Lady Baker a few years ago. She her church gifted her with an office, and it was so many of us like, oh no, we ain't got no office, and and we was like, decorate for us, girl, cause one of y'all get an office, all of us got an office. If you ain't got it yet, somebody else got a parking space. I was like, come on, parking space. You ain't got yours yet, it's coming. But we gonna celebrate your parking space, your office. And and let me say this for somebody who may be on here just looking for something to poke at us about. It's not that we need it. That's not what we saying. But when you receive things like that, it feel good if you running late because you fighting with the kids or you fighting with clothes. And you don't have to, and you don't have to find a parking space because you can zoom right in beside the house.
Because my shoes disappear on Sunday for some reason. I don't know where the heels go. But it disappeared.
The babies be having the heels. But Sunday mornings are serious. Who you telling? Who are you telling? I ain't got not one kid, but when I tell you, I tell him almost every Sunday, you go ahead. I'm coming behind you. He's like,
That's your spirit that got on me for the last 2 weeks.
So it's like I
have to go with him.
Yeah, I struggle before kids to even get dressed, so I understand it. I can't even blame it on the kids. Like they be waiting on me, so I can't even blame anybody. Like it's me. It took me a while to admit that, but my husband probably on here like, yeah, thank you. It's me.
I love when I'm ready early. I be saying like, are you ready? Why you taking so long?
I'm
Why
going to
you
sit in
not
the car.
ready yet? I'm gonna leave. I be like, I'm not trying to miss prayer today. Like, I'm gonna leave. Oh, it does. It does. We have a deacon at our church, and this is going to lead me into what we have coming up next that I'm excited about. We have a deacon at our church, Deacon Menza. When Deacon Menza prays, oh my God, I tell him, I might not, we have the 11:25 huddle with leaders. I might not make it here for the huddle to get instructions, but when I tell you, I make sure I make it here for prayer. It might be 11:45, it might be 11:50, but I'm sliding on in so I can get the tail end of that prayer. Because it definitely goes down. Deacon Menza, Sister Naya, it goes down, and I just love being in that atmosphere where you can just sit and soak it up. Also because you need that before you get up before the people. You can't run in and you got all that. Exactly. You can't run in with all that on you and then project it out on the people. That's why I tell people all the time, don't talk to me before church.
Best interest.
Just so y'all know, it's not that I don't want to talk to the people. It's just I be trying to make sure I want to stay in that good space. Not that anybody take me out, but I want. Yeah, I'm cleaning it like Jesus put me in a washing machine. Like I want to make sure that I stay in that space where when I get up, that I'm not projecting that. You know. Yes, it's so vital, and I'm sensitive about what I put out there to the people, because then God be like, oh no, that's on you. What was it? What you doing? But Lord, you know how to ride was. I'm gonna need you to go find a secret space, a quiet space to get yourself together. So, but speaking of prayer, I'm excited. We are. My sister right here who be praying heaven down all the time.
Yes, she does.
Praying heaven down all the time. We are doing prayer for pastors' wives, prayer with pastors' wives next Saturday, March 23rd, 10 a.m. This is for all pastors' wives, not just Voice for Her, not just millennials. All pastors' wives, we're going to be putting it out there on social media. If you ladies will help me share it with on social media, and just invite pastors' wives that you know, because the theme is praying through it all. No matter what comes to us, no matter what we go through, we literally have to pray through it all. And what an awesome opportunity to be able to even pray each other through. So next Saturday, March 23rd, 10 a.m. We'll put the information up in the next couple of hours to the next day, so you all can be here. Bring your prayer shawls, bring your prayer journals. I know people who have prayer blankets and prayer sheets, all of that. Just bring all of it and just prepare to join with other pastors' wives and just cry out to the Lord. We have again Lady Amberly Cooper, who is going to be facilitating. Pastor Rita Wilson will be here praying. Pastor Shamisha Gresham will be praying. And Minister Cornella Harrington from Virginia will be here praying. Y'all, we praying. We are praying. We are praying. We are praying. We are excited. Any final closing statements from you ladies? I knew we were going to get off my notes, and I'm perfectly fine with that because this is just like a conversation. We can end with either favorite scripture. What are you reading? What podcast are you listening to right now? What's next for you? Any of those, you can just jump on in.
I'll start. When you said final words, I always like to thank you for the space that you give us, for the leadership that you give. I just know that this is something that God is giving you, and it's something that's so needed, just to have a space of peers. So thank you. You don't like it, but it's fine. I'm gonna do it anyway. Cause what did I say? Cause what did I say? I don't look on the outward appearance. I'm like, God, I'll be looking at the heart. I'll be looking at the spirit. But seriously, because if you didn't do it and if you didn't say yes and continually say yes, and I know it's a lot to pull busy people in together. You be wrangling our schedules. You like, can y'all do it? Surveys be going out. And but you stay persistent with it because it's easy to take your yes off the table, but you don't do that. And so I honor you for that, and thank you so much for just a space. Because for me, I've walked alone through so many seasons, but this isn't the season for that. And I thank God for the space that you create for us. It's a safe space, and it just feels good. It feels family. It feels sister. So thank you so much for that. What's next for me? I'm in a building season currently, just building the things that God is calling me to build personally, entrepreneurially, in my marriage, ministry. So it's really a building season. It's a hardworking season. It's a diligent season. It's a season of sacrifice. So what's next is what comes after you build the structure or the whatever is being established while the roots are going down and the groundwork is being put in. So even me not being on social, we joke about it all the time. It's for a reason, and when I get back on, it'll be evident that okay, it ain't just gonna be getting back on playing and sacrificing the time. And the reason that I'm still off, and that's a testimony and testament to where I am with the building, it's because I haven't done what I got off to do. So ain't no need of me getting back on because the time period passed by. I haven't done it yet. So that's really the season I'm in, really just building, just working hard behind the scenes. People don't think I like behind the scenes, but I am a behind the scene person. I will tell you, I work much harder behind the scenes. And I was telling somebody this the other day, my greatest gifts, I have stage gifts, but my greatest gifts, my most effective gifts are definitely those that you never see. And so that's where I am, and that's what I'm doing. So.
Scripture, like your favorite scripture, what are you reading, podcast, and ultimately what's next?
I'll say real quick. What's next for me? So my husband and I, we will have reached 10 years in April. So yes, thank God for that. And so right now we have both feel, just because of our journey and because of things that we've overcame and things that we've just experienced in our marriage, to now help other couples in our ministry. So I am reading a book called Sacred Marriages, and it is so good. It is so rich. And we're actually walking through it right now with a couple in premarital counseling. But we're doing that so that we can use that as all the literature as a platform to work with couples in small groups in our ministry. So excited about that. Excited about, I know that the Lord has put on my heart for marriages to help just build healthy Christian marriages. So we're excited about that. And see what else. And then, like I said, I went back to work full time within the last year. So it's really a season of just me and doing, doing things that will help me remain confident and be able to build, like my sister said, just building outside of our role as pastors' wives, because we are more than a pastor's wife. We're honored to be in this role, but there's more to us than that. So yes, so exploring who I am and what I like and what Adero likes to do. Yes.
I'm gonna support. I'm gonna piggyback off of her because last year I did that. I declared that I'm making it personal because my youngest, I finally put her in school. Like I breastfed, so she was like, it was the attachment, right? So it was like finally I got myself. I've been a mom. My oldest is 21. I've been a mom half my life. So I am so like that's who I am. So it's time to find Lachey. What is your passion? What do you want to do in this world to make this world a better, So that's what I've been tackling, and I started back and I started school, getting my master's. So I did it scared, okay? So because I've been out, I got my bachelor's in 10 years ago, almost 11, 12 years ago. So I was like, Lord, I don't know if I want to do this. So I did it scared, and I was like, and when I did it and I stepped out, and it's like I'm doing it, and I'm like, I think I have I started my internship. I started my internship in the fall, so I'm like, I'm almost done, and I got a 3.9 GPA. So your girl is like, okay. So I was like, this is something. So I'm like you, it's personal. I'm trying to better myself and being somebody outside of ministry, and so and a lot of it's like it's building as well because we're building our marriage, just finding ourselves outside of the kids, and being more intentional about loving each other. And that's like we came up on 10 years 2 years ago. This is 12 years, so the same thing, just trying to in every area of my life I want to be effective and I want to excel. And that's what I'm trying to tackle everywhere that I feel like I have not been present or being the best Lachey. I'm trying to tackle that a little bit at a time. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And Romans 8:18, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time is not worthy to compare.
Preach.
My brother. But yeah.
Preach on. Preach on.
She's speaking now.
No. Don't tune up behind you.
I just find it funny that we're coming up on 10 years in December. So
We all 10 years. Everybody.
But I'm still in the season. I got little babies, and so my oldest is 9, and so I'm still in the season where still raising the kids. My youngest is 3, and she's not even in school yet. So I keep telling myself, okay, when my baby get in school, I'm gonna do all these healthy things. As far as better schedule. My schedule is just crazy. It's just like I don't. I asked God for a set work schedule, but sometimes I alternate the work schedule depending on if I want to, be there for my children on a field trip, or I might take a late night because I want to have that morning for their appointments, and so it's just like just trying to get to a place where I help grow them and be there for them because I feel like they so small, and this time it's just like I want to cultivate them into knowing like mom, because they're like, mommy, daddy, y'all was at work, y'all was doing this, and then every time we together as a family, daddy preaching or we going to him singing. And then, it's not enough to like be like, this day is just all about us getting to know each other. Sometimes, we get home and we got dinner in the car, so they sleep and it's just like, they're in bed, so you don't get the how was your day, how did you feel? So it's just like sometimes that kind of gets me in a place where I'm like, I want to be the mom that gets to really know their children, because you can be like, my mom worked all the time. She's an awesome woman. Like she showed me so much strength of working and independent. But then now that I see her, she's like, well, yeah, I'm ready to have that soft side to where I can relax, I can retire, I can have family time. And I just want in this season to have that family time and be able to build my girls and show them like, mommy's just not going to work all the time, but I know God is going to provide, and meet the the ends that, because you can't make it all, and I would say, I'm not going to say, I'm just paraphrasing that, man can't live by bread alone, but it's not all about what we can do naturally, but spiritually you need that spiritual food to say, God, I'm going to, no matter what, I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to worry about what I don't got, what I can't get, what needs are not met, because I know that you're going to take care of me. You're going to take care of my family. And so I'm just in a place where I'm learning to, be not only that mom and still, help them grow into a place and still be that wife. And then, in the midst of that, find out what I like to do, what I want to do. I want a side business. I have a lot of things I love to do. I love fashion. I love smell good. I love a lot of, things. And so I'm like, God, show me the area where you want me to go in, because I know I can do this. And when I start doing things that you show me, I don't have to clock into a 9 to 5, because I know that it's something above this, so, but I'm taking the time to at least serve where I'm at. Even at my job, I'm serving the best I can be. I have a lot of people that come in there and be like, and it's fun. They're like, you too pretty to work here, or you look like you should be acting. And I'm just like, okay, God, whatever you give me. But I also take that in a place where I'm like, God, I know this is not going to be like this always, but while I'm here, I'm going to serve. I go in there and I do ministry at work. I have on my shirts, people are like, I know you're a believer, or you have a sweet spirit. I help people, I serve people well, and I work at Red Room Shoes. I'm assistant manager there, and I make shoes ministry. What helps you? I talk to people. It's a lot of things that I come in contact with people that may believe or may not believe. So I'm just in a season right now where I'm learning how to not only balance, but to be able to be there for my family and still learn what I want to do for me. I'm sorry if I was everywhere, but I was trying to get it out.
You're right.
You sure you don't like this song? Right. But everything you say, I'm serious. Everything you say is so rich. Like I just be like listening to her talk. Really, seriously. I'm for real. You just want to listen. So
Some people, it's like when you do get them to open up.
it's so good.
Yeah, yeah. Said it was. I'm the last one. I'm the last one. So,
That's for last.
th- this all of
We're not all
this
last,
one.
so we already went. Let me encourage. That's my. Let me do. I can't do what I want to do.
Yeah, I love her. I love her so much. I love her. And you would be so proud of me. I have grown. My topic that I always like to bring up about that certain pastor's wife, I have grown past that. I just want to say I was right, but
I didn't even say anything about this.
oh, it has been out there. And every time I think about you, and I'm like, nope, I ain't gonna say that. And I'm just gonna be like, Lord, because that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
You don't want to harvest the dishonor. So you don't disagree or agree.
That's it. What she said. That's it. That is it. That is it. I love the fact that we are able to share with one another, and that we're able to share with you all. What is next for me is what you see right now. I just plan to continue to build on this. When it comes down to my passion, I have a passion for pastors' wives. And that's just it. I just have the passion for pastors' wives and continuing to grow. Voice for Her is definitely on the list. This YouTube channel was something that I have been talking about for a while, and I finally jumped in on it. So we are doing good. Even bringing in some of our legacy ladies. We've already had one who has decided that she wants to do a luncheon with us. She says she's not coming on social media. Bless us with these baby boomers. But they don't want to come on social media. They want to sit down in an intimate setting. So that's what's next. Intimate settings with some of the seasoned pastors' wives, as well as we're always talking about we need a trip, and I'm not the one to plan it. Right. I'm not the one to plan it, but I'm going to try my hardest this year to make sure that we have a pastor and first ladies trip. So any of my ladies who are watching, somebody please take this out my hand so we can get it done. Yeah, take the trip out my hand so it'll actually get done. So that is what is next for me. I believe this season is definitely a season of restoration. As my sisters know it, and some of you that may be watching know it, the last 2 years have been a great loss for my husband and I, starting with he lost his father in 2022, and then we turned around and lost the baby in 2023. So it's just been hit after hit. However, the fact that he's still here and I'm still here and we're still together, none of that even matters. Like, no matter how great the pain was in the moment, the fact that we were able to weather it together is the most important thing to me. I still got my champ. And so, on that note, thank you all again for allowing us to share our voice with you all. And please continue to keep up with us. Subscribe, like, share, love, all of that good stuff. And we'll be seeing you all soon. You can turn this off now.